All right, guys. So, wow, death. Now, it doesn't, no surprise to me. I mean, death is the card for Scorpio. We're in Scorpio season, and this card has made at least one other appearance, one of the other readings. But I'm going to say this to you. It's your underlying energy. And you're a fixed sign, like Aquarius, like Leo, like Scorpio. You don't do too well with change unless you guys initiate it. So that might be why this week feels kind of uncomfortable for you, because there is change, there's transformation. Now, death is never a surprise. It's not the Tower, right? This is where, I mean, for some of you, it may be that this is the week where you understand why there's been the change. This has been going on for a while, and I can see that from this energy in the past. But when death rolls, death rolls through town, it's not like he gallops through on his horse. He kind of ambles through on his horse. And that's when we lose like things, people, situations, things are not just as they were. Death of the old, birth of the new, right? And even when we want change, it can be difficult. Better the devil you know, always with the death card. And so it's not been an easy time, I'll say that, with all these changes taking place. So is it any wonder that we have the Four of Pentacles at the heart of this reading? This is the comfort zone card. Now, for some of you, it may feel that, I don't want to just write this off as the comfort zone. When I'm reading energies, that is how I see this. Clinging to something because it's safe, it's what we have left, is valuable to us. We don't want to lose it. When you've lost so much, of course, if you only have 4 pentacles left, this can be where, you feel like you don't have the funds. I only have a little bit of money. I'm hoarding it. I'm saving it. I'm saving it for a rainy day. Who knows when this death shit's going to end? I'm just going to hold on to this. That's fine. I'm not saying anything about that. It's good to know what's of value to you. However, when I put this out, remember I said that's not going to work. You can't stop death. You can't stop this change. Yes, we always have free will. And so the choice here is to go with it. And I think it's the vice versa deck where, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's the deck that has images on both sides of it. And the flip side of the death card on that is it shows the people on their knees. They're accepting the change with grace. Grace under fire, showing dignity in the face of the change. Desperation won't work. Clinging to the old won't work here. Sticking within your comfort zone won't work. That's what death does. We'll just keep changing, transforming, ripping the stuff out until you let go of the tree. Let go of the pentacles that are there. So that's difficult. It is difficult. And this has been going on for a while. It's not even new. That's how you'll know if this message is for you, because you've been feeling this for a while. With the 9 of Swords in the past, last week, last month, last year, whatever. Stress, anxiety, worry. Now, I am getting, and if you've watched me for a while, I don't usually go into literal interpretations or not in the generals because, it's energy and it's how all of us are using the energy in different ways. But some of you have been very stressed out about your comfort, about your stability, about your security, whether that's your home, your finances, your job, whatever it is. Those things that do bring you comfort. Something about that has been causing you great anxiety. There have been changes within that, changes that you couldn't control. So absolutely no judgment whatsoever if you're stuck in a tree holding on to 4 pentacles. That is the logical thing to do if that's all you have left in the world, right? Things are changing though. And death, that's why death's underlying. It's not like that would be a different story. That would say the change has already happened. It's gone. And that's, you're stressed out about it, but it's not coming up that way. It's coming up that way. Whereas the stress and anxiety is in the past now. Some of you have gotten to a place of acceptance. Some of you are just like, right, screw it. Let's just go, in for a penny, in for a pound. That's what this person has to do. They have to invest, spend, do something with those 4 pentacles to risk it more, because otherwise this situation won't change. And that sounds strange with death coming up there, which is change. What I mean by that is something that you're doing in the action that you take. That's major arcana. That's happening to us. That's the energy around us, the path in our life, the greater situation of our life. This is the day-to-day. And it's like I think some of you have just like, I'm done with just sticking with it, letting the change happen to me. I'm ready to come out of my comfort zone. You know, when it gets to that point where it's almost more comfortable to stay in the same place than it is to actually do something, say something, go for something. But that's remarkable, because look at what we have coming up in the present for you. We have the Page of Cups. That changes everything. So the Page of Cups, pages I always see as very similar to aces, and you have another ace here, right? The Ace of Wands. So page, because they're the beginning of the energy. And for those of you that have been going through Dark Night of the Soul, that have been trudging along that bloody tunnel, and there's no like it's the light at the end of the tunnel, and a few times you thought it was the light at the end of the tunnel and it was a train coming towards you. There is light at the end of the tunnel now, really, honestly. I always see death as there's two different aspects of it. The death part, where the things are being removed, and then the rebirth part, where, you know, now we're having new emotions, feelings. There's things that we love now. There's things that we want to bring back into our lives. But not if you're holding on to a tree, right? So the Page of Cups, it can be messages of love. It can be saying how you feel. But the main energy of the Page of Cups is whatever's in your cup, whatever that budding emotion is, whatever you've started to have feelings for. It's time to nurture that. It's time to grow that. Maybe communicate. You might not be ready to do that just yet. I understand. You're still holding on to the tree. But, you know, at least own it yourself. At least say, you know what, I'm starting to feel like this. Because that's in the past, the stress and anxiety. And I don't feel like that's just been resolved. I kind of feel like it's just been too long. You can't stay in fight or flight mode forever. You know, you just can't. The body's not designed to do that. And that's what it kind of feels like. It's like, I'm just going to have to deal with this. And this feels really surprising. It feels really surprising, especially with death sat above it and with the Four of Pentacles here. And it might be surprising you, and that's kind of making you kind of hold on even tight and saying, whoa, what's going on here now? So what your advice in the present with the Page of Cups is to explore that, to nurture it, to grow it, to see how you feel, connect with your heart, speak from your heart, go with your heart. And I know it feels risky. I know it. When you've had all of this going on. So kudos to you guys who are able to connect with your heart, to feel and to just be like, I deserve to be happy. What makes me happy? Even if it's starting off small, you know, tea or coffee. What do I fancy for lunch? I think I'm going to go watch this movie in the cinema today, even by myself or whatever. You know, the little things, looking at what makes you happy. Trying to fulfill your heart's desire, your needs at a very basic level, because it's the page, it's the beginning. And guess what? There's a shift in that. Where that leads to, you start off small, right? It leads to this kind of energy, the King of Wands. Now, yeah, some of you may be dealing with a fire sign, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, so that could be someone coming in. But I don't kind of, I'm seeing this as you, because all of this is very kind of me, personal energy. But it's general, so it can go both ways. So take the message as you will. But with the King of Wands coming up as a future energy, he doesn't even know what a comfort zone is. So that's getting smashed to bits with his presence. You won't need it. The King of Wands takes action. He's confident. He's entrepreneurial. He follows his passions. He follows his, you know, whatever he wants to create, he's going to go and do it. He will do that. He's not going to hide out in a tree. He's there to be seen. He socializes. He's out and about. Now, if some of you have been trying, whatever this was, because it doesn't say. I mean, I'm sure death has been affecting every area of your life, relationships, work, whatever, everything. But how you reconnect to you, how you go forward, I want to just repeat that. It's by what's in your heart. What do you love? What do you feel like doing? Your inner child. The Page of Cups is the inner child, you know, and we're such great parents to our children, most of us, right? But we're really shitty, crappy parents to ourselves, and we all have an inner child. We berate that inner child. We make it work long hours. We don't let it play, you know, and it's about letting the play back. There's like a kind of playfulness, a childlike kind of energy coming back in here in the present. And it leads to this, wanting more, being able to get more done, taking more action, confidence coming in. It starts off so small, guys. I don't think you can even envision at this point where it will go, where it will take you. Now, for others, if that's someone else coming in for you, or someone that you might have feelings for here, to be honest, I kind of don't get that. I'm going to go with, all right, let's say if it's someone else, it's someone that you find very attractive, someone who's very dynamic, energy, who's kind of larger than life. That's what I get with the King of Wands. But if it's you, I think it's you being found very attractive, and being found very attractive for the struggles that you've been through. Now, attractive, I don't mean that all of a sudden you're going to have like a 6-pack and become the most gorgeous thing ever. That's not what I'm talking about. With the King of Wands coming up, this might be, well, I see action, movement, doing things more. Because you haven't been. Everything's been stuck here. Stressed out, stuck. Just watching things, leaving your life one after the other. Getting changed. But you've been transformed. King of Wands coming up there. You're inspired. You want to act on your passions, right? Where you were struggling to find one thing that made you happy, here you know everything. Like, oh, I want to do this, I'm going to go do that. Now, what's the advice? How do we get here? And someone asked me this question. I think it was an Aries actually that asked me this. I think it was Aries, or was it Taurus? I don't know. But anyway, so with the King of Wands coming up here, this is how we get here. This is the advice on how we get to this. So the Ace of Wands, it's your inspiration. So look at what your heart's saying, not just for your emotions, but at your passions. At what inspires you, what makes you want to go forward. Because when you're doing this is just being overwhelmed by thoughts going over the stress and anxiety again and again and again. You're not doing that now. Now you're looking at what inspires me. What do I have passion for? What do I want to create? Because if you're not there now, but you're becoming the person who's able to act on this inspiration. But you must be inspired first. You must look at how you're feeling first, right? So this is a new beginning coming in. And I think some of you would kill for that new beginning. But yeah, and he's the perfect person to know what to do with this. Now, if it's some of you trying to start a project, start a new business, get into a relationship, that's the perfect person to come in. But you remember, like attracts like. So it's your heart, your passion that kind of draws in this energy of the King of Wands, whether it's yours or someone else's, and gets you out of this comfort zone.